Among the many JOYTOY Warhammer releases, I love the models from the Space Marine 2 video game. And today we'll take a look at Titus Collector's Edition and incredibly splendid Relic Secundus. We unbox for macragge. Let's start by opening the Relic Secundus, since we already saw Titus in the previous review. Check it out. When opening it, the first striking impression is how close he looks to the in-game model, and those weapons look like real relics. And as for the previous figures in the line, we also have instructions about how to install the headlight. If we look at our premium Titus instead, we will notice that he is essentially the same as the previous one in terms of equipment, but the devil is in the details. Once everything is on the table, Titus is definitely the guy with the most customization options, while the Relic Secundus has a more princely appearance. Let's begin from His Majesty, the Relic Secundus. Lots of gold decorations on this intercessor's body. From the engineering point of view, he is the same as other figures in terms of joints, like the shoulder pauldrons. You have the ball joints for them, and of course the butterfly joints for the main body. I don't expect any problem in handling the provided weapons and pose naturally with them. Legs are a bit limited forward by the hip armor plates, but there is no problem going back with them like this. What I really appreciate of this line are these massive legs. They really give the figure the overall human tank look that makes Space Marine look impressive and powerful. As usual, the groin mill armor is made of soft plastic, and most of accessories are part of the belt sculpt. Double jointed knees, highlights, and a discrete amount of blood stains distributed across the body. On the back, there is nothing special with this backpack, the usual purity seal and an overall nice paint job. But now let's also give a quick look at Titus in his collector's edition. To be honest, he looks pretty much identical to the previous one, but he is less shiny, at least as far as I can tell, both in the head and in the overall armor. There are plenty of highlights all around the armor and the omnipresent bloodstains. I can't imagine how much Space Marines spend for laundry. I'm not a big fan of figures covered in gore, but I really appreciate the amount of details getting into this release. This is how Titus and his team, and also Calgar, should have been released from the start, in my opinion of course. If we consider the difference with the bare head, the new one looks also much better, even if the base sculpt is the same. Hopefully this will be a lesson learned for the future. And to be sure, let's bring Titus V1. I'm curious now. As you can see, the base model is identical. Same decorations, same pauldrons, and so on. But the kind of paint finish is instead making all the difference. The new Titus has a more dimmed down blue color, while the previous one had a more vibrant one. I gave to my Titus V1 a hand of inking around the gold parts, but if you ignore it, it is pretty much the same gold paint, just covered in Xenos blood. This is valid for the front, the pauldrons, the arms, the legs, the long piece. Everything is now covered in bloodstains. Just highlights next time, please, JOYTOY. If we compare the helmets, I can't spot much difference either, just a lighter color and some highlights on the new one, which in the end is what it is, a better painted Titus. The weapons look to be another aspect that has been improved. The initial weapons, like the chainsword here, were the standard ones used for the other smaller intercessors models, so they looked a bit on undersides for him. But now they are bigger and more proportion for them, at least when talking about this kind of melee weapons and portable automated rocket launchers. While Titus uses the classic simple and practical design for his weapons, the Relic Secundus has a way richer decorations and details of course. Sadly, they are again stained in blood, but I guess that we cannot have everything at this point. The same for the pistol of course, and fortunately even the pistol design has been improved in case of Titus, less resembling a toy gun in his hand. If we compare the chainswords instead, the Relic Secundus is not that excessive in his style. I guess it is too much to clean every time, if it has too fancy decorations. And like the previous version, Titus comes with flying accessories, like the jetpack and leg thruster attachments. One thing that I just noted is that the first Titus used dark shading for the armor paint, while the Relic Secundus is using highlights only. Interesting. These flying accessories allow you to build an assault intercessor variant of your favorite space marine, something that the Relic Secundus does not have. It is a bit difficult for me to decide which one I like the most, since it depends on how I'm going to display him. The Relic Secundus is the figure you want, as a great hero appearing among his brothers, and if you like his rich style, it is definitely something you want to consider. Titus instead is the classic video game hero, all duty and no time for fancy decorations, just practical tools for extermination, standard job for space marines. If you don't have Titus yet, this is the version you want. It is not much more expensive than the other one, and it has a better paint job. Relic and Titus are more or less the same height, if you consider the difference with the helmet and the decorations. All the new Titus are also very similar, they have changed the abdomen part, but besides the color differences they are the same figure. The Black Legionnaire must surrender to Titus, more imposing bulk, but being a Primaris I think that this is lore accurate. My custom female Stormcast Eternal is here to show how the figures from that line compare to the Space Marines, smaller but not midgets. Finally, we confirm that Terminators are great fits to work side to side with Space Marine 2 figures, no matter what is their chapter. And this is true for the Indomitus Terminators, as it is for the new Cataphracti Terminators, like this Iron Warriors Siege Tyrant. Let's give some space to the Relic Secundus and compare him with the Golden Aquilon Terminator, which should probably be even bigger, but otherwise they will get to a Primarch level size. And let's bring in the first Captain Abaddon. Okay, there are different eras, but I will not resist to give this awesome figure some space on the channel. What about older Warhammer 40k figures instead? Well, they are clearly outclassed, but being two separate lines, the comparison is just for fun. One day in the future they will have some revenge once the Razorback tank is released. Until then I will stick to the plan of keeping them displayed very far from each other. And this is valid regardless of the type of armor they wear, including the Grey Knight's Terminator. Anyway, they fit really nice with other human figures like the Cadians, or some other 118 figures released by JOYTOY, or others like Acid Rain. And finally we are at the end. Congratulations if you have got so far. And if you have not done it, click like and leave a comment, to please the God algorithm, you know. The finishing of both figures is great. I would have liked this to be the style for the entire Space Marine 2 lineup from the start. This has been one of my favorite JOYTOY release train, and the beloved Calgar will be among the next releases on this channel for sure. While Titus is the legendary protagonist of the game, the Relic Secundus has a much more glorious look. No wonder you must grind it a lot in the game to unlock him. And if you are a player in the game, you should just rush to get him. Articulations are in line with all the previous figures, there is no real change, they look bulky and I like it, even if you can forget about any Spartan kicking with those massive armored legs. While I like the highlights, I would have preferred not to have all the blood around the figure, but this is the typical look for your in-game character, so I guess it is again lore accurate, quote unquote. If you already have the first Titus, the collector's edition is not that needed, otherwise this is the Titus you want to have. The Relic Secundus instead is a majestic and unique figure, and the Ultramarines fans for sure will love him, but probably it is more for completionist people. Having said that, I wish you a nice rest of the day trying to remove those blood stains from your cool power armors.